All right, the third stream. Let me also join the Google Meet. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right, as always, we'll wait a few more minutes. Hello, hello. All right, yes. Hello, hello. Hello. Oh, I have to leave and rejoin to use my audio. I know. Okay. What? I have to leave and rejoin to use my audio again. That's weird. Hmm. I think I have to join, and now I will present. Present. Yeah, Google Meets wants to first join the meet and then to start presenting for some reason. Yeah, so while we're waiting, I may just look on the project list again. Um, yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, would it be better to still just select 2 games only, so that it'll be easier to teach you the building blocks and teach you the tools necessary to build the games. So, like, I won't show you exactly how to build that game, but I'll teach you, like, starting in third week, I think, like the tools that you will need for building the game, the actual game. And like if there are many different games, that would be like a lot of effort with not not for a significant gain. Um, yeah, like I really think we should just choose maybe two games. And for example, I will show you um how you can create a Tetris game, and like that's already done. I have all the slides and everything there. And like a Tetris game will be like it will resemble maybe, let me, hello. um yeah, it will resemble, let's say, Tetris game, which resemble maybe this Arcanoid game or Snake game. Oh yeah, Magic Jewelry. That's what it will resemble the most. This game here, Magic Jewelry. Open as well, not like that. I have start profile again.
In this video,
No, this one. Oh, you can see it here. So this could be a game that you could work on. So yeah, like I said yesterday, I know everyone wants to create maybe a specific game, but like to come closer to a standardized course or like project grading, we should like try to make a like a standard game, like to make a maximum of two games or something like that. Like two would be like maybe the most you know, the most that I could handle. um like yeah, there's some ambiguity there. Like I'm not sure whether to allow you to create any game, and like I would love to, but um I don't think you will be able to learn the right way of doing it, or like the easy way of doing it. um yeah, I guess I'll have to ask you. We'll wait a few more minutes, and like I will ask each of you if you would like to create one of two games that I will select now. So let's do like, so Magic Jewelry would be a game that you can call it like an easy mode, because I will be making this Tetris game, and you will see a lot of similarities. And yeah, like if you are more interested in learning how to code and create a game than to actually create a game, and that would give you more predictability and you have higher chances of succeeding, um like I would choose this game. um I'm not like it's not set in stone, but it's like a good first version of the list of games. And I really liked the, where is it? this 3D sniper shooter. I mean, I liked it because you guys, a few of you, like 30% of you, wanted to create a shooter, and these ones are like, I guess they are most representative. Like if you're focused more on just making sure you learn something and you will work on the game's logic and everything, and you want less chaos in your project, like less randomness, less unpredictability, you would choose this one. And if you are willing to risk a bit and implement this thing, and or maybe you like it so much that you're almost sure you will be succeeding and creating in it, um you can choose this one, and you can choose to make both. Well, if you want, um but no, just focus on one at first. And yeah, like one of these two, I think they will be the candidates. um yeah, I think sniper shooter, racing, platformer, pool snake, tank battle. Tank battle resembles a sniper shooter quite a lot, so yeah, I have to rename these two projects. Candidates, potential candidates. Have to select it. Selected candidates, and yeah, like I will wait like one more session until I will really commit and choose these ones. Let's see, like we are 2 minutes over 1840. 3 minutes. Well, let's wait 2 more minutes. Today's session is a bit more relaxed because I talked about more things than I should have yesterday. So they will be on today's slides as well. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I have some DMs here. Yeah. So like right off the bat, 3D tank battle will not be here. Fighting game. Um yeah, you can learn a lot of things from fighting game, but mm, I'm really um thinking about like arcade, 2D racing, platformer, and pool. There are like already four of them. Um, I'd really like to choose a platformer because I know you see you have that sense of progression, and you see like you move and the space around you changes. Whereas like Magic Jewelry, Tetris, or 3D Sniper Shooter, you kind of stay in the same place, and that would be like a nice variation. Um, well, since I will be making the Tetris already, so Magic Jewelry is kind of covered. Um, yeah, I'll basically have to create like an hour or something like that for a session in the like the third week, where I will talk about components that you will need for this game, for the 3D shooter. And I don't know about the platformer. Like for a platformer, yeah, we can talk about. I mean, yeah, a platformer is pretty because we'll be making animation. We'll be making some animation, and like I will kind of already give you the building blocks for it, and you will only have to uh set the camera to follow the player. And we might even go directly to Cine Machine, or yeah, we'll see about that. Which is yeah, I guess the platform will be really interesting, and we will start with a very simple one, like um maybe without any power ups or anything like that at first. That only if you want to add them. Just you will be adding you'll be making the map manually, and yeah, basically the player will just jump over the obstacles, and yeah, maybe there will be like a completion time, and you have to finish it fast, and there are some gaps where you um have to jump over, and you die if you go like if you fall into the gap. And yeah, actually, I mean, it's pretty interesting to have this one as well. And again, these are games specifically for the course, so you can have a sense of a progression, and a sense of like you have built something, right? Very, I mean, in theory, it shouldn't take you more than a week, for maybe 2 hours a day maximum. I don't know, yeah. Um, and once you've done this and it's in a decent state, uh, then yeah, you can stick around on Discord, and um, you can just, yeah, you can even ask questions about your own projects, like how you would do a certain thing. Um, Apart from that, like just be. I know it's kind of early if you haven't used Unity before, but go on Unity forums, and you'll see there lots of people where now they are migrating it to like Unity discussions, but doesn't matter. It's still there, and just ask an enormous amount of questions there. There are a lot of people that want to help you, and there's an interesting reason why a lot of people hang out forums, and like there are multiple reasons, but a lot of people, for example, they sell assets or something like that, or they just benefit in some way or another from helping you. So you're getting help for free, and they are getting some recognition, they're getting some exposure, and they can just sell their stuff or something like that. And basically, that's like a universal rule everywhere on the internet, right? I don't know. I kind of discovered that pretty late. um, yeah, and just go on Unity forums, and just you can ask everything. But yeah, it really helps to also just uh, go over a course like this introductory course, so you at least have the base, the fundamentals, and then go into the specifics. Um, for example, you cannot just ask, "How do I learn Unity?" or something like that. Um, Yeah, so we have three games here, and I think this would be a good compromise. Um, yeah, so I guess we can start like we went over the board, and I wanted to ask you guys like, so we have Magic Jewelry, 3D Sniper Shooter, and 2D Platformer. Do you think, guys, you can fit within these three categories? Like, is there a game from here which you don't hate a lot? Just let me know. Like, let me know in Discord or here on Google Meets. Just send me a message. Like, um, just mention that. Yeah, I would like to do the, I don't know, magic jewelry, or I would like to do a 2D platformer. 2D platformer, yeah, and um, basically I want to minimize your regrets or your yeah, regrets. Basically, I want to make sure that whatever options you have available, uh, you're at least okay with what you can choose from. So yeah, like I'll send these, or they're actually here, and just make sure to add them here and choose on games. Um, yeah, and I will just go all over it. I mean, there's plenty of time until third week, so you can just think about it. So these three games, you can just think about it, right? Good. Uh, I guess we can start. So I was hoping one more person will enter, but I guess they'll enter late or something like that. Okay, good. So let's start the slideshow. Let's see the stream. Okay, the stream is all right. Okay. All right. So we are day 3, and like I said, I talked yesterday more than I should have. So that's why it took a bit more. So I should have talked about these things today more in depth. But basically, we have, like, in a game we have assets, and assets are files. You can say it that way. Like, in most cases, an asset is a file. Let's leave it to that, right? And you have 3D models like characters, buildings, a ball, a car, right? There are 3D models. You have textures, which are you import them as images, basically, and the most used ones are PNGs, but Unity also has this PSD importer, so you can export things directly from Photoshop or Photopea and whatever. But I worked mostly with PNGs, and I'm sure you can have JPEGs and all of that. But like Unity has to take whatever format you throw at it and just convert it to a file, not a file, to an internal format. And they have like the texture format, like whatever file you give it, it will convert it to a texture. And from there onwards, you can choose some options for those textures, like whether to ignore the alpha channel and all of that. Then you have audio files, which are like, you can have wave files, MP3 files, I think AAC files, and so on. And again, Unity has the audio clip concept, which, like, it's an abstraction over the file format. So in Unity, you will interact with audio clips, and like, you don't care about the actual file that's being read for the most part. And you have scripts, and the scripts are, we can do it right now. I can show you how you can create a script. if I didn't already. DVD, let's to be deleted again. Yeah, let's create like we have a cube and we can create a script for it. You can do it this way, or you can do it in Visual Studio, or here, like create script, C# script. I kind of like it this way. And just don't worry about it too much because we have a lot of content for the programming side as well. And Unity by default creates a script that's of type mono behavior. So that means, I mean, by default, you'd have like an empty file and you have to write something there for something to happen. But by default, Unity, especially for to be beginner friendly, tries to it creates a mono behavior type, and this is the my test script. And notice it has to be the same name as the file name. Um, yeah, you can double click. It starts Visual Studio. And yeah, we'll talk about this later. But let's do something like rotate. Again, so don't worry about these things. I just want to show you what a script is, right? I mean, it's a script comes from movies, right? The word mostly. So you kind of get the idea. It's instructions for something that will happen. And a script most of the time will be attached to an object, and you can reference components of that object. And here update is called once per frame. So let's say like most of the time we have 60 frames per second, and start is called just once. Transform is like a reference for the current object's transform component, through which you transform the object, change its position, rotation, scale, right, and so on. And transform.up is the up vector, and I know this like goes somehow, like it goes, we go into the math a bit, but don't worry about it now. And it basically tells it rotate this object around its up axis. So basically up is in that direction and you move it like this. And because this is called 60 times per frame, it means it will rotate it 60 times. I mean, 60 times per second. Yeah. Or even more often, depending on your PC, or it really depends on some settings. Yeah, it will basically call this function, let's say 60 times per second. And it's quite a lot. And that's why we use this delta time. And this, what this does, I mean, if we take this out, I think it will rotate it like 1 degree per each frame or something like that, right? And let's say we want to rotate it like 30 degrees per frame, but we don't want to rotate it per frame, we want to rotate it per second. And oops, something happened. For that to happen, we have to multiply it by delta time. And delta time simply means how much time has passed since the last frame. And that gives us, and like the more you work with this, the more you don't even think about it. You just know that how much do I want to rotate it per second? I want to rotate it like 30 degrees, right? And around this axis, up axis. And up axis is just the vector. If we go into it, let's see if we see it here. I don't know if we will see it, but it's basically like the vector that looks up, which means it's just a combination of three numbers, like x is 0, y is 1, and z is 0. So it's the up arrow, right? Let's go back here. And that's it. I want to rotate this much. But because this update is called once per frame, we have to multiply it by how much time has passed since the last frame. And let's say if update it's called once per second, this will be 1. So each second you'll get like 30 degrees, and it will go like this, thumb, 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 right? But of course we want it to go smoothly like this. So we're like doing it in small increments. So in a second, we'll do it like 60 times. Like we'll move it like ding, 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 something like this. And you'll do it faster, and you'll see it is really smooth. All right, let's save it. We'll go over those later, but and let's see the cube. Let's remove the rigid body so that it won't or I mean I can make it like kinematic, which means that it won't respond to gravity, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it won't respond to gravity. And we can edit this. I mean, let's add it in edit mode. Edit mode means where we are now. Like we're not in play mode. Play mode is when we play it now. Yeah, and you see it rotates around its yeah, it rotates kind of weirdly. I know why. If you want to rotate it like that, we have to do, I think, space self, which means it's relative to self. Yeah, and if you like edit something and you want to see it again, you have to exit and enter again. And they've tried to make it like so you can see the updates in real time, but no, that's something that won't work that well. It will maybe work just for a very simple case like this one, but just forget about it. So you see, this is like the local y-axis of this object. You see, like it's pointing to its own up. So if this cube was like a character, that its head would be like in that direction, right? And now it should rotate around that axis, and it doesn't. Interesting. It rotates around. That's interesting. Space itself. Well, we won't go too much into this now, but transform up. Yeah, you know, these things are so simple that I forgot how to do them. But you see that this is a script. We'll go over this later, right? Let's go back to our slides. So those are scripts. They can do like an enormous amount of things. They can be really complex. Then you have animations. And animations are what they sound like. Like there are two components. Basically, they are assets. So you create them like this. Create animation, and like you select the game object. Then I think you have to add like an animator component to it. and you drag this animation. Yeah, well, first you have to create an animator as well. Animator controller. So we have the cube, we have the animator controller. And in the animator controller, you double click it and you have some states here, like you'll have the idle state, the run state, and everything like that. And if you drag it here, you already have it here. And you go into the this is just an overview. We'll go into this deeper later. So just so you can have an idea about it. And you have the cube, and you have the animation. And what you can do is you can record, and let's say I think you have to do it like this. Yeah, you added a keyframe, and lots of animation software uh, work like this. And then you record, and you do like a rotation like this, and you stop recording, and it's just you've created this animation basically. And if you go into the animator, it will go right from the entry into this animation. So when you start the game, and let's remove, or yeah, we can disable this script, and its update will not be called anymore. So in theory, this thing should rotate. You see, it rotated, so, and it stayed. Oh, I think I just created like an event. Oh, okay. I want to remove this event. Delete animation event. You have to, yeah, add keyframe. Like this would be the keyframe. Yeah. Yeah, and it goes like this. And if you want, it can loop. Animation, animator, new animation. And this is this is a file. This is an animation file which describes the animation. And you can go here and reveal in Explorer or Finder, and it's this one, new animation.anim. And if you want, you can even open it and you can look at it, and you see it's just instructions. It's not like weird random characters. It's basically a set of instructions, right? But yeah, it's an asset. It's a file that encodes information about this window. Like information that, okay, you have a keyframe, and the XYZ rotation on at the first is that number, and at this in the fourth frame you have these numbers, and Unity knows how to interpolate between them. And let's put it here. I've set it to looping, and basically it will loop. It won't loop nicely, but it basically goes from start to the begin from start to the end, then again and again. That's an animation. And again, we'll go into it deeper later. Images, and I think I meant here like images on the user interface. So when you create a user interface, like a background image for your loading screen or something like that, they are still like image files that are used for various things. And sprites are like a particular version of textures. Like sprites are used, for example, for 2D animations, where you have like a sprite sheet, it's called, where you have like a lot of all of the frames for a character arranged in grid, and Unity has these tools to turn that into an animation. And Yeah, an asset can also refer to plugins or template projects. Yeah, like these are uh, primitive assets in the sense, in the same sense that like 3D modeling applications call cubes and spheres and all of those like primitives. Um, and asset packages or plugins are things that you get from the asset store or just from anywhere from the web, because you can do like, I can select this folder and I can export it as a package so someone can import it. And it's here, assets, export package. And this is from here. And yeah, for some reason it select all of them. So you have to select none and just select this folder and any dependencies that this folder has. This, like this prefab might have some dependencies. And yeah, you can export it. Let's export it. And you have it here, test.unity package. It has 12 megabytes. And that's how you share stuff. That's how you share assets. And but not only that, like you can just find maybe some plugins on GitHub that you download and manually copy into your project, and you can call that an asset as well. So that's like the terminology for Unity. Yeah, and there are also like template projects. So basically you go to the asset store and buy or get for free a complete project for, I don't know, like a racing game or an RPG, RPG game. And it already plays, it already works, and you basically use it for learning or use it to create your own games. You just modify it and use it as your own game, and like you have full rights for it if you paid for it in the asset store. And that's like, a lot of people do that. Like they take a game from a complete project and they modify it and they call it theirs. And yeah, that's like a way of doing things. Like depends on what you prioritize. um yeah, but mostly they are used for learning. And yeah, welcome to the asset store. Asset store is a platform for buying and selling assets. um I've used this less than I should have. I was reinventing a lot of wheels at the beginning, and I shouldn't have. Yeah, there's some sales. So you have a lot of things here, like tools, audio. For example, on audio can be just uh see here, 2000 game sound effects, right? So just uh, a lot of things here like are really, they are specific to game developers, right? And when you go to the audio, you kind of find everything that you want, right? um yeah, visual effects like you know this uses particle systems and all of that. And you can see, yeah, basically assets like this. And so that you won't need to create them yourself. And there are like hundreds of assets. Even now, like I don't use don't use it enough, because it's kind of it's hard to believe that you can basically create a game out of just assets. You purchase assets and you just combine it in Unity. But yeah, it depends on how big your game is and how unique you want it to be, right? Because of course, if an asset is very popular, probably a lot of people are using it, and maybe you want your game to be unique and you want it to be the only one in the world that looks a certain way, and yeah, so it depends on what you want. Yeah, and also like there are categories. Where is templates? What I was talking about: complete game, the match, Snake Wars, Candy Match, FPS Engine, 8 Ball. Look, this is like 1,400 euros. Um, yeah, so basically you can find things here, a lot of things, which are very good for learning. So that's Asset Store. And I think we can do some importing. Let's go select assets by clicking on the example. Pixel Adventure 1 selected. Yeah, I think Pixel Adventure 1. Yeah, because it's free, that's why. Add to my assets. Accept. And I think I've already imported it. No, I don't. Okay, maybe it's called a different name. Okay, I added it to my assets, and maybe I have to refresh the page or something. Open in Unity, yeah. And when you open it in Unity, you will go here. This is like the new way, like an intermediate way of doing things, like because they want to unify the asset store with this interface, like inside the Unity editor, where you can find some other things in addition to the asset store stuff. Yeah, Pixel Adventure, you have it here, you download it and you imported Pixel Adventure 1. File exists this project with the same UID. Huh. Interesting. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so we import it. We have 2 demos. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so we imported this Pixel Adventure, and there's a convention that I like to follow. I'd like everything that I download to put it in plugins. Even though that you might prefer to have it here. But it's a good practice that you have your code here, and there are some special folders, and plugins folder is a special folder name. And yeah, Pixel Adventure. Let's enter the scene. What's this? A lot of things here. Oh, we don't have a camera. Let's create a camera on the fly. Camera. Let's put it at 0, 0. Well, yeah, you'll just see everything here, like checkpoints and whatever. And these are sprites. They are sprites. They are objects with the sprite renderer. Just to showcase you the images. So it's basically a pack of images, right? And you'll see them here. Assets, backgrounds. And these are tiled, so they'll be multiplied, so they'll look like a background. Items like boxes, whatever. So you can see these are like it's an example how you import an asset. Oops, where's my presentation? Oh yeah, I clicked the link and that's why I don't remember how to put it on. Okay, add to my assets. You can access your assets here in the asset store. So where is it? Yeah, I guess I will have to go here. But yeah, you will find it. It's not that important now. You'll find it on the website in the my assets. Um, and you don't have to use asset store, so you can work completely offline with just Unity, right? Okay. Yeah, here you can view all of your assets. Mm, yeah. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. There are two kind of packages, and the UPM, it's called like that. It comes from a Unity Package Manager. It's a different kind of package, and it's in more universal format. And if you have programmed with the NPM Node Package Manager, they basically use Node behind the scenes to manage the packs, or something very similar to Node. And like you even have the packages.json, and you specify there like all of the packages that you're using. And I think in the long term, they will want to integrate all of the assets on Asset Store in this package manager. Yeah. After linking your assets to your Unity project, they appear in the package manager. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to click the refresh button there if they don't appear. Let me do something like go here and press slideshow and go here and you have window package manager. Yeah, if you don't see them, there will be a button, this one here. Press refresh, or you can search for them here. Okay. Yeah, we went through this. And yeah, we have standard assets for all users, which are from here, from Unity registry, and we can go over it now. And these are things that are built in for Unity, and some of them are already in the project. And some of them are, like, for example, you can install the 2D package, which gives you some features for, you can read the description. It gives you some features for the 2D game creation. 3D characters and animation, AR, cinematic studio for TV shows, create films, and other animated linear content. So these are like, in a way, like template projects, template assets. Engineering, yeah, I think this one is by default. You see there's a check mark. Storytelling, mobile, and packages. A lot of packages here. So these are kind of they're built-in packages. Then we have used by this project. So all of the assets here are used in the project. So we have this external package manager for Unity because I'm using it in later, like in week 2 or something like that, right? And I already have them here, like Firebase and all of that. Yeah, these are some Unity stuff, Unity UI as well. I think you have to install it if I remember correctly, or I think it's installed by default as well. Okay, and I don't know if the one that we've downloaded, if it shows here, because it's this thing with the asset store where when you import an asset from the asset store, it's not like a hard link between the asset store and the asset, because you put it here, right? But now you can just you can delete this image if you want, right? Or you can delete the folder, or you can add something here. You know, you can create an animation or whatever, right? So um, it's pretty hard to track. I mean, yeah, they could have added this pixel adventure here, and you can see it, and they might just detect modifications and just give you a message, a warning message like, "Hey, you've modified this one, so do you want to restore it?" or something like that. But yeah, it really doesn't show here because like once you downloaded it and imported it, it's kind of as if it never happened from package manager's perspective. Um, but it stays here. And there's owned from asset store. Let's see, what do we own? This was called Pixel Adventure. Is it here? Maybe press P. No. OP Pixel Adventure. Yeah, you see, you can import it like again because like you have it here, it knows it's yours, but it doesn't try to like establish a link between what's in your project and what's here, because like you can import it again. And it's like that's how you do updates. For example, you see, it detected that I removed this file and it says like it's new. And yeah, for some reason it says that also I've modified this thing and this asset is new or has changed. Um, yeah, good. And there's 4 for default for projects. Yeah, these are like the really built-in stuff. Um, yeah, like web requests, how to access the web, vehicles, video, wind. I never used wind. Um, particle systems, physics. And yeah, what's cool in the latest version of Unity, you can disable it. So you can disable physics. And I think your game will run faster if you don't use physics. I haven't checked it, but it should in theory. For example, you can disable Android GNI if you don't. But this is just like optimization. That comes very like much later. Yeah, and after linking your assets to Unity, they appear okay. Yeah, and here comes the part where we'll go through the fundamental concepts. And like I said, I went through this more in more detail that I should have yesterday, but doesn't matter. It's good to repeat. You know, repetition is good. Um, yeah, the game object is the most fundamental part of Unity. And let's go to, I don't know, this thing, this scene. And a game object is like everything is a game object, right? The directional light is a game object. By the way, you can rotate it and you see it's like sun goes down and goes up, and um yeah, when you right click and you, I don't know, when you go to 3D object and I don't know, cylinder, right? We just created a cylinder, and that's like a game object, right? And you can play with it, you can do whatever. That's a game object. And so a game object can be a bullet, a fog effect, a sound, a character, a button, and we'll abbreviate them as JO, go. Um, yeah, so I never really use this thing here, like I don't really see the point because you can do it here, right click, and you can create it, right? You can create stuff. Um, or in the hierarchy. So let's create a cube. We've already created our cylinder, and you see it was selected already. No reason to go again over that. Other types, yeah, you can have effects. For particle systems, you can have lights, audio sources, a video player that I didn't really use. UI. So let's say from all of these, we create a point light. And this is a point light. And if we disable the, or make the sun really dark, yeah, for some reason there's also an ambient light from the sky, and I think we can modify that in some other way. So this is like a point light, right? Yeah, so this is a light. We'll go over lights in more detail later. And let's also create like a UI. And first you create a canvas, and immediately an event system is created, which manages inputs. So these are some, just don't worry about them now. So we've created a canvas. This is our canvas. The blue Z axis is forward. And now we will use this T. So remember we have had the Q, W, E, R, T, and you can't really use T for objects because it doesn't really make sense. Like you can do something like this, but yeah, I mean you can do it like this, but I mean, well, it's actually something pretty interesting. I haven't used it like this before. Like if I want to have more a finer control over the shape. Always you can learn something new. But this T which is here, like you can also use this thing, but why use this when you have shortcuts? Yeah, T. And basically you can, I mean, canvas is the simplest one, is screen space overlay, and it's basically fills your whole screen. You see it's the fits your screen. And let's create under it. So with it selected, we can create an image. Bam, that's an image. And this is on our screen. See it, it's here. So when we move the camera, where are you, camera? Where's our camera? Oh, I think it's here. Yeah. When we move our camera, wait a second. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, we move our camera and the UI stays on the screen, right? Because it's UI. And yeah, you can create buttons, text, input text, whatever, right? You can press the button, go write a script to tell it what to do, and all of that. And this is like the UI, and the root object is the canvas. And maybe you've noticed that these objects are small here, or they are to scale. So if you create a cube, it's 1 unit by 1 unit, and you can say it's meters or it's feet, but it's 1 unit, right? But most people use a meter as a unit. So a cube is 1 by 1 by 1 meter. And the UI is they they made it so big, and there are some layers, and we won't go over them, but it's easier to separate them somehow while still having them in the same scene. So if you want to edit your UI, you basically double click on the canvas, right? And you edit it here, so that when you do something like this, you won't select cubes or stuff like that, right? And when you go here and you do something like this, you won't select like the button and stuff like that. And it's a nice trick they've done. But if you are here and you look in that direction while you are in the game, you won't be seeing this button here, right? You're only seeing it here in the scene. In the game, you're seeing it like this. Good. Let's go back. And yeah, we went through this UI, which is a whole session in itself, or it might be like 3 sessions if we had time. Good. These are objects, a lot of objects. And it's easier to think about objects when they are visual, when they have a visual representation. But an object can also be like a piece of logic. So for example, you might have create empty, and this is like an object that doesn't have anything, only a transform. And you see, this is an object, and it's an empty. It's only has a position. And what you will see from time to time, these objects are, for example, you might have like an ads manager, and you have a script for ads here, right? You have and basically you go to, for example, you work maybe with, I don't know, Facebook ads, and it gives you some passwords and some things, and you'll see them here and you'll add them. And then in another place you in code, like when you press a button, you will search for the ads manager and tell it, hey, display an ad or something like that. So they are like nouns, right? A game object can also be like whatever can be a noun. Uh, Good. We talked about this yesterday. You can manipulate objects. And I don't know what this edit bound volume means, but I think it means it's the, yeah, you see, it's the collider. So it's the same as going to the collider component and pressing this, so you can edit the collider, the object collider. Yeah, interesting. And there's also this multi tool. So it's all these three combined, and basically you can scale, you can rotate, and you can move as well. Yeah, you can use this at the beginning, I guess. But it's really easy. Like you press W, you move, you then press E, you rotate around an axis, you press R, you scale. It's kind of second nature. Yeah. And yeah, you can also, I think, if you press, yeah, it's command on Mac and Alt or Control on Windows. You can just have this increment if you want, like if you put it like 0 rotation, then you press Alt or Command, then you rotate exactly 15 degrees. See? Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should go over them again. No, like we have move tool, yeah, W, um, rotate with E, scale with R, and again this the rectangle tool, which is abbreviated rect tool. Uh, it's not applicable to 3D object. Actually, it is, as we've discovered. um, and it's really useful, really useful. Because when you're creating a platformer, you're doing things like this, like so you like have this thing and you're, yeah, I try to make it how it's on default, so Z looks forward, so in that direction inside the screen. So if you're making like a platformer, you do something like this, you then go, I think it's, yeah, you do Control C, Control V, you do it like this. You then go T, you might want to do it like this, and Control C, Control V, then W to move again. You then maybe want to do it like this. Oh, you see that's the disadvantage for using this one. You if you have this tool, you just do it like this. Whoa, I'm just learning this thing now. Like, yeah, that's interesting. Well, I haven't made many platformer games, but yeah. And you see, you just get you then can select all of these with Command or Control, and Control C, Control V if you want to do it like this, you know. And I mean, and if you're making a 3D game, you can just press E and go here to center, and you can just use like Control to rotate it like 90 degrees, then W, and you can press this plane and you can move it around that plane that's defined by those arrows, right? And you can press on these things as well, go here, and you can also, you have two types of projections. I don't think I am mentioning that. You have the perspective projection, which you're used to from the real world, and then you have the orthographic projection. So you see there's no difference from the angle that you're going to. And this is good when you want to be really specific, really exact about combining these things, for example, right? And go like this, and go like this. So yeah, if you're like making a 3D runner, whatever, right? And there's another thing that I don't know if you will remember this or not, but you'll see at some point like you'll use your mouse wheel and you'll try to scroll and it starts to scroll really slow, and there are multiple reasons why that happens, but it's kind of to get a finer control. But if you want like to reset the sensitivity, you take your middle mouse and press on a nearby object. For example, this one, I press the middle mouse and it also focuses it, and now I can do this, like, yeah, I can use the zoom better. And if I press the middle mouse here, you see it kind of frames it and it moves the scene view camera there, or this one, right? Or you can also just double click it. I think it has the same role as double clicking it. Yeah. And or of course you can also do like Option or Alt on Windows and do this like with the right click. So Option or Alt and right click, and you do it like this, right? So yeah, basically we have this temple run type game that you can do. Yeah, that's this rectangle tool is really useful. I was using it for UI mostly. Good. Back. Yeah, we went over this. Of course, you can delete objects. It's pretty easy to, like, you have the delete or you key, or you can delete it like this, right? Or like this, command in backspace, or delete if you have delete button. Oh, interesting. The delete key doesn't work in Unity if you're on Mac, which is bad. Okay, backspace, command and backspace. But on Windows it works. Oops. Scene view, navigating like a pro. So I kind of already went through this. So middle mouse, you go like this, and like the most useful thing, like you zoom in and then you go like this, and you want to zoom in again, you do it like this. You want to zoom in again. Oops, it actually zoomed in. It's I clicked the canvas, and that's why it did something like this. Yeah, Alt and aim, or Option and aim. Aim. I think it means like, yeah, this is what I wanted to say actually. You not only aim, you click and aim. Well, yeah. M3 on object, set it as the view pivot. Yeah, actually, when you, for example, let's say you want to rotate around this object, so this object will stay in the middle. If you do it now, you see it doesn't really stay in the middle, or perfectly in the middle. But if you middle click it, it now becomes the middle object. So you see, interesting. Actually, it doesn't work, or does it? Or I have to double click it. Oh yeah, I have to double click it actually. Do I say like I have to? Yeah, so there is a difference between double clicking and just middle mouse. There's a difference. Yeah, middle mouse is just, I think it just moves the camera so the object is seen. But if you double click it, this is how you set it as your pivot. So if I double click it, wait. Yeah, and it kind of tries to encompass all of its objects, but let's take this cube, or let's create another cube. This is a cube. And if you double click it and you now move, you can see how its center, it stays in the center of the screen, right? And you orbit around it. Then Alt, plus mouse 2 and aim. Yeah, and I said already this. So Alt or Option and right click, and you go and look closer or farther to the object, and see it starts to again like go into this slow finer adjustment, and you have to just tell like, okay, where do I want to go? I want to go closer to this object. I just click with the mouse wheel on it, and then I can go more closer, right? That's how it works. Okay, component, we went over this yesterday. You have a transform component, which is added by default, and a distinction is that UI elements have a rect transform component, because their transform is much more complex, because you have like a pivot, and yeah, you cannot change the pivot of 3D objects easily, but you can change the pivot of 2D objects. And you see it's here, and it's grayed out because we've selected the center as like a temporary pivot around which to rotate an object. I think if we like, if you select pivot, then it's selectable and you can move it, and you see it changes here. And if you go here, you can wait, you should have, yeah, you can rotate it around that pivot, right? So it's like a pin, it's like you pin it to the wall. That's what the pivot is for, right? And I think if I select center, but I'm not sure, let's see. Yeah, actually, so if you want to rotate an object around its center, but without changing its pivot. You can do it like that. And of course, if you also scale the object, I think it scales around the pivot. You see how the right side scales faster than the left side. There's like a lot to learn about the UI because you can create incredibly complex UIs with it, and like it's a very powerful tool. And I kind of started Unity with UI. I went really deep into AI, UI. I keep hearing AI everywhere. So yeah, and rotation as well, scale. You can see you can rotate it as this way as well. And there's also the concept of anchors, but we'll go into that later. Just know that UI elements have a rect transform by default, and it's already added for you. Don't need to know. You don't need to remember that. Yeah, you need to display an object. You need a mesh filter to dictate the shape, and the renderer to dictate color, material, and others. And if you need physics, you need a collider for the shape, for the collision shape, and the rigid body to define mass, friction, and actually tell Unity that, hey, take care of this object's position, speed, velocity, and everything. Like when you add a rigid body to an object, you tell Unity, I won't be moving this object too much. You move it based on physics, right? But of course you can also move it yourself through code. Yeah, we went through this, but we can do it again. Just we create a cube, double click it. Oh, let's write it. Oh, you see, it's like 300 meters above ground. Let's move it to origin. Okay. Let's see what the game sees. This is what the game sees. And yeah, we can add it like a rigid body like yesterday. Add component. And now it will respond to gravity. I know we did the same yesterday, but and there are a lot of components. Like you can have like a cloth simulator. Like you can have joints, like to create chains, right? You can have a sphere collider, so it would be like a ball, right? You can create balls. Let's create a ball. Actually, that's pretty interesting that you can create something that's so interesting. At least interesting compared to how easy it is to create. And you have a collider and a rigid body, and I mean, we can go into this very fast now, like material, physics material. Where are you? Physics material. And the physics material is just another asset, and it's an asset that defines what material the object is made of for physics purposes. So only for how, because like the material that an object is made of in terms of physics, how it interacts with other objects, shouldn't be tied to its visual, appearance. So, I mean, yeah, you would, in theory, like if it's a ball, you'd probably color it like a ball and you apply a ball texture. But the physics side and the visual sides are completely separate, and that gives you a lot of flexibility. And let's go like bounciness. I really don't know. Like let's put it 10. Maybe it's too much. And we have this sphere, and we apply this ball material physics material, and mass is, let's say, 1, and Let's see if we see it. Yeah, we see it there, but we have to move this on the side. Oops, that's okay, I see. Let's move it like here, and the camera. Let's actually move the camera outside so we can put it wherever we want. Let's okay. Let's see what happens. Well, let's kind of, yeah, but you got the idea, right? But let's yeah, there is some when the game starts, there are some things that load, and let's just move it. You see it? Yeah, it's kind of like a ball, right? Um, okay, good. We've added a rigid body. Let's see, we can change in a rigid body. Yeah, you can change mass, drag, angular drag. You can play with this yourself. You can make it not just gravity, but um, it will still react to physics. You can mark it as kinematic, and what that means is I think it cannot be moved by other objects. So yeah, I think that's what it means, because I mean I've worked so much with Unity and I still don't I mean there are so many things that like if you're not using them for a few months, then you just don't remember them. um I think that's what kinematic means. Yeah, that's something I don't know what that is. That the road level is that. That's interesting. I think sometimes Unity just needs to be restarted. uh what else? Interpolate. Yeah, don't worry about this now. These are ways in which you can check collisions. Um, the ones that consumes the least battery and the performance is discrete, which means sometimes objects can penetrate one another and they will just be like, like a ball can be stuck in a wall or something like that if your frame rate is too small, or if they have um very high speed, right? And like if you want like the most performance out of it, you would just select this continuous speculative, which is a new thing. I only knew about continuous and continuous dynamic. um yeah, they're just more math behind that, so more CPU. And you can constrain an object, so you can make it so that it won't move. For example, we can freeze the rotation, so it will not rotate. And I think you want that for a platformer, for example. And for a platformer, you want to freeze the Z position so that it won't go inside and outside of the screen, right? It will only go up on the y-axis and left, right on the x-axis. And yeah, don't worry about that. So you can see in this moment, it will not be able to go in the like in the z around the z-axis. But let's see this is kinematic thing. I think that's what it means. Yeah, well, with if it's kinematic, then use gravity is not used, because basically you're telling Unity, hey, this uses physics, but I will be controlling it, right? And I will be controlling it, and basically you can do things like this, right? You can do things like this. So it still uses physics. but you are controlling it. And usually you'll control it through code, right? When you have like a button, you press the button and you press it and the ball goes in that direction. And I don't know, let's see, does it also go like this? Yeah, it doesn't go like this. Like you see, other objects are not, cannot move it if it's kinematic. You can do it like this, and yeah, it just Unity tries to do its best to not overlap them, right? And yeah, you just deselect this kinematic. Yeah, good. Let's just exit it. Yeah, and the component, you can remove the component like this, right click and remove component. Basically you can do the same from here, but why struggle when you can just right click here, remove or reset if you want. If you want to, it's this is similar to just removing and adding the component again, right? Yeah. Rendering, and yes, it's a big decision. Currently there are three ways in which you can render a project. And in this course, we will be using the built-in one because it's the easiest one to learn, but also, in my opinion, you can still use this one to create an entire project right now. There are a lot of shaders that so I mean that's another subject in itself, but basically a shader is an asset or a plugin or a piece of code that runs on your GPU, on your graphics card, most of the time, which defines how things are seen. So you know your object's positions, size, material, how transparent it is, and all of those things. And you basically send the shader and the materials and all of this information to your GPU, and the GPU does a lot of parallel processing to show you, basically create each of the pixel that you see on your screen. And basically because the built-in rendering pipeline, DIRP, it's like the original pipeline, and it's been with us for, I guess, more than a decade, because Unity is really it's here from, I don't know when it was created, but it's more than a decade. And that means there are a lot of assets, a lot of shaders and things that are made for the built-in rendering pipeline. So if you want, for example, I don't know, you want to rain, yeah, you want rain in your game, or snow, or you want to rain with gold, or you want a rain which when it meets an object, it turns into, I don't know, gold or something or whatever, right? And it's only visual, right? It's just for visual things. You'll probably, most probably, find a lot of shaders. Asset store. I can show you. So there are and shaders have to be made for a rendering pipeline. You cannot make them for any rendering pipeline, if I remember correctly. Let's see, shaders, sprite shaders, no, ultimate outline shaders. Yeah, you can see them here. So you can have like an outline shaders, or yeah, you can see this thing like so this is what a shader does. You see, when you select something, it creates an outline or anything you want. Like there are a lot of basically whatever you want, you will find, right? You see, so basically you can see through objects, similar how to you experience in other games. And these things are done with shaders. right? And depending on what rendering pipeline you decide on, you will have more or less shaders. I think the BIRP still has the most shaders now. On the other hand, universal rendering pipeline is what tries to replace the built-in rendering pipeline. That's how I remember it. And it has some cool features which are not available here. So, and it's more programmable. And we won't be learning about this too, but just know that it helps to know this one, which we'll be making and learning about in this course, and you can better learn about these ones later. Yeah, it will take a long time and has fewer community assets. But yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of free time, you can even look into this while you're taking the course. But I just, for most of you, I just recommend just stick with the built-in rendering pipeline while you're learning, and then you can transition to this one as well. Yeah, you can search for built-in rendering pipeline versus a universal rendering pipeline. Yeah, I don't have like and yeah, universal rendering pipeline in theory it's faster, but there are a lot of nuances there. And there's also a visual shader creation tool, which is really cool. I haven't used it too much. So that you won't need to just write the code, but you can just let me show you a screenshot. One second, I can show you a screenshot of shader graph. I think that's what's called Unity shader graph. Yeah. So this is it. Basically, you start with a single thing. You add a texture, you add some materials, and you combine them. So there are a lot of ways in which you can combine them, and probably there are roles in a company or in a project where a single person does just this because there's so many things that you can create with it, and this is like the final result, right? And I think this only works with the universal rendering pipeline or HD rendering pipeline. So it's definitely something that you should learn soon. But just starting with the built-in rendering pipeline, it's the way to go. I think still, because it's easier to set up. Yeah, and scriptable rendering pipeline is actually I was talking about HD rendering pipeline, but I actually should have said like scriptable rendering pipeline. And this one is split into like uh low weight rendering pipeline, I think it's called, and HD rendering pipeline. Yeah, lightweight rendering pipeline. So, and this is like in the same category with this one in the sense that they are both actual, so it's not like one is newer than the other. It's just that this gives you much more flexibility and much more control, and but you also have to do a lot of things by hand. And like if you want to create a to try to create a triple A game in Unity, you'd basically use this one or this one. And specifically from this one, you'd use the HD rendering pipeline. Um, yeah, but I haven't used it, so I have nothing more to say there. Yeah, and I've kind of already preemptively described this, but you're confused maybe. And like I said, just use BIRP and learn URP later, and it's awesome. And you can also go here and just take a look there. Oops, sorry, I haven't seen your question. I'll answer it now. I posted the link there. So for a 2D platformer, could you get away with just using 2D image planes? Yeah, you can use anything. You can, yeah, you can go and you can you can press this 2D thing here, and it's, yeah, it's just a shortcut for doing this. Going here, pressing this, and there are some other things like there, but you can press 2D. And yeah, you will basically, if you are in 2D mode, you will create, where is it? I think you have to go and there are some utilities here in the 2D packages. But to keep it simple, I mean, you can even create like a 2D game with just in 3D mode. You'll just freeze the like the Z axis so that your character doesn't go in and out of the screen. And you'll just use this 3D object sprite, I think. I think that's what you will use. Or yeah, it really depends. Like if you want your ground to have a texture, you will use, I think, a sprite. Where is it? 3D object sprite. Or where is it? Cube, sphere. Yeah, there's a package. There's a package. There's a package. Physics 2D sprite. Yeah, we'll go over those at some point. 2D. You will install this and you will get 2D sprite. Yeah, and that's like the way you do it with a completely 2D world. I mean, we can go over that later, right? But basically you will get a thing that's similar to a cube. And where is it? Yeah, it's like this. You'll get the thing that's similar to a cube, and you just add to it a material, and you see like in this material, well, there's no material here, but I can, let's see if I can. You see that you can have a lot of materials here, and I mean, yeah, you can use that 2D package, but if you want to keep it extremely simple, just use cubes, right? And add materials to them, and it will just work out of the box, right? We'll talk about materials later. Okay. So yeah, I've pasted the link there. And that's it. That's it for today. So we went through, again, through the Unity's interface, assets, game objects, components, how you can transform components, um, yeah, and some UI, some physics. We will go in more in depth in the next sessions. This was more of an overview about each of them. So yeah, that's it for now. Um, if we go here, we have these three games that we've talked about at the beginning, and just try to see which one of these would you like to create. And like I said, we will talk about components for this one and components for this one, so you can have, I hope, everything you need to create them. And the sooner you choose your game, like, the better. So just try to choose one of these ones. So it will be your first small project, and then you'll be ready to create your own project. For those of you who already have a project in mind and they want to do that one, or yeah, if you don't have any project in mind, that's better because you'll take mostly anything. Um, but yeah, just write me on Discord or here, or DM me, whatever, if you really hate all of these three and you would like something else. Um, but I hope they are fine. They are fine, I think. Uh, yeah, just choose one and write it here. For example, this one can be like the beginning of a platformer, and you can just create uh, the basic structure, the basic version of it. Um, and yeah, it basically you can have like a milestone. You create it, and it's okay, it's decent, it's something that resembles a game, and yeah, you can have that. You can have this at as the project that you will that will get graded in this course, and later you can just extend it and create it into turn it into your own complex game or whatever, right? That works as well. um yeah, and that's it for today. It was on the shorter side, at least the slides themselves. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there are any questions. If there are any questions, just ask them now. If not, then see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.